Thank you, Honourable Ndlozi. Honourable Skhosana, would you mind that they answer questions? I'm scared that your question gets lost in translation. If you prefer to ask now, you're welcome, but otherwise let's give them, and then you go first in the next round. Is that okay?
That's super.
Chair,
That's okay.
the member and I have not been recognized.
100%. Honourable Adams, I'll put you on the next round, and as well. It's just both of you? Okay, perfect. Thank you. General Robbie, do I go to you first for the questions, for answers? General Masemola?
Thanks, Honourable Chairperson. I will answer some of the questions and the colleagues will take some of the questions. The first question, Honourable Chair, was about compensation, whether it include civil claims. The answer is no. Compensation refers only to what is being paid to police. That might include your informers and so on. Buildings, how are they aligned to DPW? We do get a budget, subs, and also there is budget from DPW. But those that we build ourselves is very minimal. The greater part of the budget is with DPW, and they are the ones that build and maintain our buildings. But General Limpano will expatiate on that, Honourable Chair. Maybe let me give a time now before I go to the next one. General Limpano.
Thank you, Honourable Chair. The allocation for infrastructure is 548 million. This includes projects that are dealt with by DPW as well as projects that are dealt with by subs. So we have 95 million that is allocated to those projects that are dealt with by DPW, and the rest of the amount with subs projects in this regard. We monitor this particular allocation. We have forums that we have with DPW in this regard. So an amount of 548 million has been set aside for 24-25. Thank you.
Thanks, Honourable Chair. With Honourable James, we do agree that yes, our vehicles do take long at the garages. Hence, this current financial year, we came up with a project to speed up the process to get vehicles of subs out of the garage, where the problem was mainly about the outsourcing contract that is there, which is not necessarily assisting us. Vehicles takes long. So we are currently having a situation where 70% of the vehicles were outsourced, 30% insourced. But we are changing that situation to be the other way around. And by capacitating our own garages, as well as also employ more mechanics. And we think through that, we'll be able to put more vehicles out there on the street. Task teams, yes, Honourable James, you say after they have been there, the situation relapse. The purpose of having a task team is to ensure that where there is a volatile situation or whatever form, to stabilize, and once it is stabilized, then we hand over to the local police. Unfortunately, sometimes it doesn't work that way, but currently, yes, we are relooking at most of our operations as to how best can we do. Some of them are performing quite well. For example, the project at Ndlozi that is dealing with cross-border vehicle crime. They are doing quite well, but yes, in certain areas like your gangs and drugs, we are not yet there, but we have made quite a number of inroads, and we want to, at this stage, review some of these projects with a view that we can address the deficiencies with regard to what needs to be done best so that we can deal with those responsible. Honourable Ndlozi, yes, the murder rate is it is high, we agree. However, we made quite a number of arrests since last year to now. We have arrested 5,716 murderers. that have to still go through the process of court. We are aware, yes, it's not sufficient. We need to get more. But of course, the whole chain of justice, crime prevention needs to have the capacity to deal with those cases. Same as the cases of your GBV. We have a project with the NPA where we have, up to now since last year, we have produced over 41,000 reports that are dealing or will assist with the prosecution of GBV cases. But of course, it might be that the number of cases on rolls takes quite a bit time. I'm sure you are aware at some point that cases are being postponed far beyond a number of years because of the number of cases that we are putting towards court that are court ready. Yes, indeed, Shebins are one of the drivers for crime. Also, your environmental design is, especially the provinces that you have spoken about, Honorable Ndlozi, Western Cape, KZN. In most areas where these matters are happening, those areas, some of them are such that it's difficult for policing, but we don't say we don't go there. We go there even though the areas are inaccessible, be it day or night, but we still go there and we make sure that we extract those suspects that we do want in those areas. On the number of firearms that as subs we have lost, the total, in total for how many years, that we will have to come back to you. On average, it's 500-600 a year, and we also recover just a little bit above that. But I don't have those specific exact figures. We'll get them and then come back to you. But since last year, April to now, we recovered over 22,000 firearms. Most of the firearms, yes, they are lost from police. They are also lost from South African firearm owners and all other law enforcement agencies. And once they are lost, in most cases, majority of them, the serial numbers get filed and you will not be able to know where they come from. Some we edge them, we know, we discover where they come from. For example, this week, last week, Thursday, Friday, we recovered 20 firearms, very new, with serial numbers filed here in the Western Cape. And so they are so new that we can see they come from somewhere, but we don't know where. We are going to edge them, and once they are being edged, if we discover those numbers, then we'll know exactly where they come from so that we follow up and take action against those that have lost those firearms. GPS, yeah, no, it's true. We don't have GPS on our firearms. It's one of the projects that we want to start this current financial year. Currently, we have GPS on vehicles, the subs vehicles. We do not have GPS on the members themselves, so that is a new one that we will look at it, new innovation. We were tracking vehicles. We track only vehicles and our radios. That's that we do have, but tracking the police man or woman himself or herself, that is something that we will research it and get into it. I'm sure it will assist us as we go along. Yeah, let me allow my colleagues to also respond on those some of the questions. Thank you very much. Any addition?
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Very good morning to yourself. As it was said, congratulations and the committee at large, Lieutenant General Musikidi. I wanted to just add on what Honorable Ndlozi requested on slide 21, to be specific on the issues of the state-owned firearms losses. as well as the vehicle losses that we have, and the fact that the numbers that we see in the brackets, or the numbers that are reflected there, it's actually the performance. That is how we performed the previous financial year. So the increases that are reflected there, it's on the target that was set for the department, on the percentages of what we have or how we performed previously, and General Rabi can outline in terms of the strategic management on how we set up the targets. But then to come to the numbers, Chair, on the state-owned firearms, in the past 3 years, we lost 712, 742, and 741. That is the previous financial years, 3 years back. So the recoveries will be out of those numbers that I am reading out now. Similarly, with the vehicles, I think on the number 28668, where we have 1% increase, that will then include the 37,402, 37,461, and 36,781, meaning the year one on 37,402, how we performed will then explains that on year three of 36,781, we recovered more, 1% more than we have performed the previous year. So that is the clarity that I needed to provide. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you, General. I want to firstly apologize. I was just communicated to that there was a mix-up, or there's pressure in terms of venues, so we actually have to move to an additional menu or a different venue now. So I just want to adjourn right there. I'm very sorry to interrupt right in the middle of the answers. Honourable Ndlozi, we have to go and look at the program. But I was just communicated, so let's go. We have to go to 120 Plain, Committee Room 2.